You are recording. Okay. Okay, guys. Thanks for bearing with me. Some network power issue. I lost for a few minutes. Okay. So let's come back to the discussion. So to answer your question, Samaya, Sampath, right? To answer your question, why we need a web service? Okay. So the simple logic behind using web service is we want to make a common language based communication, but at the same time we don't want to lose the other programming language. Okay, I mean, whatever the component is already developed or whatever the technology we are using, suppose let's say one guy, we don't want to restrict ourselves to specific programming language. Okay, so Java is important for us, .NET is important for us, Python is important for us, C language is important for us, or any other programming language is important for us. Every programming language has its own priority, its own advantages and benefits. Okay, but at the same time, there are use cases where we need to establish the communication between cross technology systems. Assume I have one software which is developed by using Java. I have another software which is developed by using .NET. But there is a use case I need to establish a communication between these two guys. So for that, I need a common language. Okay, so this Telugu person tries to communicate with the Tamil person. So directly with their mother tongue, it is not possible. So what they can do, they will start speaking in English. Whatever they want to speak in English. Then what happened? What the first guy is talking, second guy will understand. What the second guy is talking, the first guy will understand. Okay, so here we are using English as the common language between two people. Okay, so similarly, when comes to programming, when we are talking about programming, what happened? If we want to create a communication between cross technology programs, okay, so what we can do, the simple method is, instead of Java, we need to do something called Java Web Service. We don't, guys, for SOA and OSB, we don't need Java, .NET or something. I'm just using the familiar keywords in market. In IT industry, Java, .NET are familiar keywords, right? I just, to make you understand, I'm using some keywords, okay? So instead of Java, I want to say Java Web Service. Instead of .NET, I want to say .NET Web Service. So if you do this, how to do is not a point at this point of time. We really don't worry how to make Java Web Service, how to make .NET Web Service is not, it's not at all point at this point of time, but let's understand the concept. If it is possible, if we can make it, then it's very simple to establish the communication between cross technology programs. Okay, yeah. So let me elaborate little more on web service. Anyway, so to survive or to work with Oracle, SOA and OSB, if you don't know Java, C, CPP, .NET or something else is fine. Okay, but you should know what is web service. It is the mandatory concept you need to learn before you start Oracle, SOA and OSB. This is the important basic concept to start SOA. Okay, so when we are talking about web service, what is the objective of web service? It is a technology independent program which can help us to establish a communication between cross technology programs. Okay, that means web service is one of the important concept for integration. Okay, right. So when we are talking about web service, there are two types of web services, guys. SOAP web service and the next one is REST web service. Okay, so both are equally important. Both type of web services has their own advantages, their own disadvantages. Okay, now this SOAP web service will use XML as request and XML as response. Okay, so coming to REST web service, most of the time it use JSON as request and JSON as response. So I will tell you guys what is this XML, what is this JSON. As part of this course, we are going to learn all the things what is required for SOA. Okay. So when you want to learn about web service, there are two types of web services: SOAP web service and REST web service. SOAP web service works with XML. REST web service works with JSON. Okay, most of the time. But REST web service has the capability, even it can work with XML as well. Okay, I mean, I can say this way. I mean, these are all our additional options. If we want to use, yes, we can use it. Okay. See, all these combinations are possible with REST. See, JSON as request, XML as response, XML as request, JSON as response. So these are four combinations. These four combinations we can do with REST web service. Any questions, guys, till this point? Any questions? You can speak
No.
up. No. So we are all clear, right? Okay. So let me give you little more information about these web services. Okay. Let me go to one small picture. I mean, kind of a representation. It's just a representation for your understanding. It's not a program. Okay. See, when we are talking about a web service, as I told you, there are two types of web services, right? So here I will give you a pictorial representation to make you understand how a web service looks like. Okay, just give me. Right. So if I'm talking about a web service, there are two types of web services as we discussed. Let's assume this is a SOAP web service. SOAP web service. Let's assume this is REST web service. Okay. So in SOAP web service, we have something, there are two important parts, guys. One is interface. This part is called as interface. Also, we call it as WSDL. WSDL. Okay. And this part is called as body of the web service. When I said body of the web service, you can use any programming language to write the required program. I mean, the logic, programming logic. Okay. You can use any programming language in the body of the web service. Okay. I just took some example. Okay. In Oracle SOA suite, we use a programming language called Beeple. Not just Beeple, we have even other options. I'm just giving you an example. Okay. So in the SOAP web service body, we can write the programming language by using any program. In Oracle SOA suite, we use a program called Beeple. What is that Beeple? We'll see that now. Okay, we'll see that as part of this course. Okay, so coming to this, Waddle. Okay, see, these are all the parts of a web service. SOAP web service contains interface, nothing but WSDL. Is my cursor visible for you guys? I mean, I'm talking about this one. Okay, interface, which is called as WSDL. In a REST web service, we have interface, which is called as Waddle. Okay, in the body of the web service, you can write the program, actual program logic by using any programming language. Okay, it may be a SOAP web service, it may be a REST web service. The program you can write by using any programming language. In Oracle SOA suite, we use a language called, you should speak out. We use a language called Beeple. Okay.
Beeple.
Yeah, there are two parts, guys. So what are the parts in web service? Interface and body. Interface and body. If it is SOAP web service, interface is WSDL. If it is REST web service, interface is Waddle. SOAP web service body you can develop by using any programming language. REST web service body you can develop by using any programming language. In Oracle SOA suite, What is the language we use? Beeple. Okay. So web service is not just limited to Oracle SOA. That's what the point I want to convey you guys. Okay. Web service is not just for Oracle SOA suite or OSB. You can have web service concept in Java, .NET or any programming language, even in Oracle SOA suite. Okay. Now, in SOAP web service, I told you in the previous discussion, right? So the request is in XML format, response is in XML format. Okay. But for the REST service, most preferred request is JSON, and most preferred response is also JSON. But it is not just limited to JSON, guys. We can also use XML even in a REST service. It is not just limited to JSON. REST service can also handle something called XML. Okay. This is a diagrammatical representation, right? So now if you want to learn web service, what are all you need to know? You should know what is this XML, how to write this XML. You should know what is this WSDL and how to write this WSDL. You should know what is this BPEL, correct? So, and for REST service, you should know what is this JSON, and you should know what is WADL, and you should know what is BPEL. So if you learn these things, I'm just giving diagrammatical representation, but it's not a program, correct? So, but if you want to really write the program, you need to learn these things. If you don't know XML, if you don't know WSDL, if you don't know BPEL, you cannot write a web service in Oracle SOA suite. Okay, so we need to learn one by one concept. First, we need to learn what is XML. Then we need to learn what is WSDL. Then we need to learn what is BPEL. Okay, if we can learn all these things, then we are good to start to write a first program, the Hello World program. If you want to write Hello World program in Oracle SOA suite, you should know what is XML, what is WSDL, what is BPEL. Okay, any questions from anyone?
Sir.
Go ahead.
Sir, SOAP full meaning.
SOA?
SOAP, sir, full meaning chapter.
Full name, Service Oriented Architecture.
SOAP, sir. SOAP.
SOAP, okay.
Yes, sir, SOAP.
It's a protocol. I will explain you what exactly this protocol is. For now, just try to understand it's a SOAP web service, okay?
Okay.
So if it is just, you want just the full name, yeah, you can find it anywhere in the Google, right? Simple Object Access Protocol, okay? But
Okay,
I will tell you, going forward, I will tell you what is this SOAP protocol is. Technically, what is the difference between SOAP web service and REST web service? Okay, you can also see what is REST. Okay, REST protocol, right?
Simple Object Access Protocol. Okay, sir.
If you see REST,
yes, that's one.
Okay, you can also find the RESTful form, representational state transfer. Okay, it's not about full form, guys, but we should know what is this protocol will do, how this protocol operates. That we will see. Okay. Any other question?
Okay, sir.
So for now, by name, you just remember there are two types of web services: SOAP web service and REST web service. What are all the parts of the SOAP web service? It has an interface. It has an interface, which is a WSDL. It has a body, which is a BPEL. If it is a REST web service, it has an interface, which is WADL, and it
Interface,
has a body, which is
WADL.
Okay, this one you need to remember. WSDL, WADL, body, XML, JSON. Total 5 keywords. Okay. Any other question, guys? Any other question from anyone? Are we good? Okay. Now to kick off this, guys, what is the first concept we need to learn? To write a web service. Let's start with SOAP web service. Okay. So the first concept what we need to learn is XML. We need to learn XML. We learn XML, and then we learn WSDL, and then we learn BPEL. Okay. This way, the same order we will follow. Okay. Right. Let me have a little discussion about XML. Okay, so is the font visible for everybody? My notepad file?
Yes, sir.
Okay, the
Yes, sir.
font, what about the font? Is it clear?
Clear, sir.
Okay, fine. So, guys, XML is one programming language, but it has a different behavior. Guys, can you go on mute? Whoever is not speaking, go on mute. I'm getting some background noise.
The
Whenever you
voice is
have a
not
question,
audible, sir.
sorry,
The voice is not audible.
voice is not audible. Is it from the beginning or just now?
The disturbance.
Outside.
Through others also, whoever not speaking, once go on mute.
Vikram bro, mute lo పెట్టు.
Yeah. Okay, so guys, let me know whenever my voice is not clear, whenever my voice is not clear, whenever the screen is not visible, immediately inform me, don't hesitate. Okay? Yeah, how about my voice now? Is it clear for everybody?
Yes, sir. Good, sir.
Yeah.
Yes
So
sir,
when you
please.
have a question, just ask me the question and immediately go on mute. Otherwise, your noise is coming and that makes a little disturbance. Okay? Fine. Um, who is this? Sampath, please go on mute. And yep, Sampath, go on mute.
Okay sir.
Okay. So, guys, what I will do for every concept, once I discuss the concept, I will give you time to ask the question. At that time, you can unmute and ask me the question. Okay. Yeah. So now let me talk about XML. XML is a kind of programming language. It has a little difference with other programming languages. See, when we are talking about any programming language, it may be C, CPP, or .NET or Java, generally what we do with the programming language, there are two important things we will perform with any programming language, generally in any other programming language, not XML, any programming language. Okay, what we do, one is we store the data as an variable. Okay, any programming language, if you take C, CPP, Java, .NET, we store the data in the form of variables and we process the data. So what do you mean by process the data? That means, suppose I want to perform addition of two numbers. Can we write a C program to perform addition of two numbers? It is possible, right? We can write a C program which can perform addition of two numbers. If a user supply two integers as input to the program, that program will perform addition on these two integers and the response comes out as a single number. So 2 plus 4 is equal to 6. So 2 and 4 are inputs for the program. 6 is the output of the program. Okay, that means we are performing an addition logic. So if you do any kind of data processing, okay, that requires a logic. That's what we called as data processing. Okay, so you take any programming language, mainly it will perform two different actions: store the data in the form of a variable. Number two, process the data as per the requirement. It may be addition, subtraction, or some other logic. Okay, but it processes the data. It processes the data which is already stored in variables or object format. I mean, it depends on programming language. Few programming languages uses variables. Few programming languages use objects as well. Okay, so any in the current IT industry, you pick any programming language, it mainly perform two important actions: store the data in the form of variable or object, process the data as per the requirement. Okay, now, yeah, any questions? Okay, so I take it as no questions. Okay, so now this is a generic programming language, but when we are talking about XML, okay, XML is little different comparatively other programming languages. By using XML, you can store data as an element, not as a variable. Okay, XML programming language, we can store the data as an element. I will show you what is this element, what exactly I mean by element. But in XML, we have no option to process the data. Like C, Java, .NET, we can write a business logic. But in XML, we cannot write business logic. It is not possible. XML programming language has no capability to write a business logic. So do you understand the main, I hope you understand the main difference between other programming languages and XML. By using XML, you can store the data in the form of an element, but you cannot process the data. But generic programming languages, you can store the data in the form of a variable or object, and you can also process the data as per the requirement. So guys, you can unmute and ask me the questions, if any questions you have, the difference between generic programming language and XML. Go ahead. Sampath, any question?
No, sir.
No, okay. If no questions, don't unmute. Okay, right. So this is the first difference. Okay, now, so okay, fine. By using XML, we cannot process the data. There may be another alternative approach how to process the data, which is in XML format that we will see. But what is this? How this XML looks like? Okay, suppose I mean, I will give you one example. I have a data, example 1, 10. 10 is an integer. 10 is a data. Okay, it can be a data, right? I will give you example 2. Student age is 10 years. Okay, so I have two examples of data. Example 1, the data is 10. Example 2, the data is student age is 10 years. Okay, so there is little difference between example 1 and example 2. Example 1, it is data, but what is this 10? Data is 10, okay, that is clear. But what is this 10? Is it distance between two poles? Is it age of a student? Is it weight of an object? Is it cost of an item? There is no information. The data is 10, that's it. We don't know anything else. Okay, but if you take the second example, student age is 10 years. In this example, still the 10, or you can say 15 years, just I want to avoid the confusion. Okay, student age is 15 years. So here 15 is the data. What is 15 here? It is age of a student. That means in the first example, we have data, but there is no metadata. Okay, what is this data? There is no information. But in the second example, we have data which is 15, but what is this 15? It's the age of a student. So that means this data has metadata. First example, we have data, no metadata. Here we have data along with metadata. Okay, data but no metadata. In this example, we have data along with metadata. Okay, okay guys, any questions? Any questions? Do you understand first example and second example? What data without metadata, data with metadata?
So what is the meaning of metadata?
Okay, so
Yes, sir.
metadata means information about the object. So the ideally data, right? Information about the data, describing an object. I have a pen. Okay, this is an object. Describing the pen. This pen made by some Reliance company. This pen has a refill inside it. This pen has one cap. This pen, we can make it two parts. So information about the object is called metadata. Okay, Did I answer your question?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So
Yes,
now example 1 also considered as data, example 2 also considered as data. It is plain text. The data, whatever we are seeing here, is a plain text data, regular, our daily, we use this in our daily communication, human understandable format, human speak format. A human can speak in this format. Okay, normal human can understand this. Now, example 1 format of data, example 2 format of data. I want to make it in XML format. XML is a programmatical format. It has the ability to store the data as an element. Okay, suppose if I take the example 1, if I want to convert, it is a normal human language, right? So but I want to write it in XML format. Okay, so if you want to write in XML format, there are few things we need to consider. Okay, so XML stores the data in the form of an element. When I said element, see this is what I'm talking about. When I said element, it follows a syntax, element syntax. I will tell you. Sorry, element syntax. It contains open tag, data, close tag, close tag. Okay, this is just the syntax. Now we need to fill the blanks. Okay, suppose I want to write XML element for example 1. First, I need an open tag, something inside this open tag, something I need to write. Let me write XYZ, data, and close tag, Okay, this is called as open tag. This is called as close tag. Inside open tag, I'm using some keyword. It is user defined. You can write anything. Are we good? Open tag, you can write any string. It is user defined. Okay. Close tag must be same as open tag, but to represent it as close tag, we use this slash symbol. Okay. And in between open tag and close tag, we write the data. Is it clear, sir? Okay, now if I write the XML for example 2, this is the XML for example 1, XML format. Plain data, line number 10 is plain data, human understandable language, and human use this language. Okay, but if I convert this data into XML format, this is how it looks like. Element format. Store the data in an element. XML store data as an element. Okay, so I store the data in an element. Element contains open tag and close tag. Open tag is user defined. Close tag is exactly same as open tag with a close tag representation. This slash represents it is a close tag. In between open tag and close tag, we need to write the actual data. This is how an element looks like, XML element. Now, I want to write the XML for example 2. Okay, so here also I can write XML something like this. XYZ. What is the data here? 15 XYZ. Okay, I can also write in another way, student is 15 years. Okay, I can also write another way, ABC 15 ABC. So now what happened? Observe. Whatever XML elements I wrote, all are correct only. Even line number 11, this is a correct XML. Line number 14, this is a correct XML. 15, this is also a correct XML. 16, this is also a correct XML. But there is a little difference. If you see this, the first example, what is the data here? What is the data? 10.
10.
10 is the data. What is 10? What is 10? 10
Actual
is
data.
XYZ. 10 is XYZ. That's it. We don't know because this data itself has no metadata. We really don't have the clarity what is this 10 is, as we discussed earlier. Okay. Now go to the second example. If you see this example, what is the data here? It is 15. Data is 15. What is 15? What is 15?
Student year.
Student age.
Student year.
So
Age of student.
yeah, so we can utilize the tag name to write the metadata. But tag is independent, guys. There is no rule. We are not following any rule here. I mean, when you are writing something in the tag name, when you are writing something in the element tag name, by default the rule is it is user defined. But how you want to utilize is your choice. Okay, I want to utilize it properly. Okay, suppose if you take all these three examples, A, B, C, all are correct XMLs only. A is correct XML, B is correct XML, C is correct XML. But B is more meaningful. This is more meaningful. This has data along with metadata. If somebody looks into this element, they can understand data is 15 and 15 is student is. Okay, I will give you few more examples. Let me give you few more examples. Suppose okay, can you tell me what is the data in line number 22?
1001 is a
1001.
1001 is data. What is
Data.
1001 here? What it is representing?
representing metadata, author ID.
It is an order ID. 1001 is a order ID. So if somebody reads this, they will understand, okay, data is 1001 and what is this 1001? This is an order ID. Okay, I will give you another example. Okay, so in line number 24, what is data?
50.
50 is data. What is this 50?
Pen cost.
Pen cost.
Metadata.
It is cost of a pen. It is cost of a pen.
Yes.
Okay. So suppose if I write another example, okay. What is data in this example? Line number 26 in this example, what is data?
230.
234 is the data. What is 234?
MNOs.
MNO. That means technically this is correct.
It's mean.
Technically this is an XML element. Okay. Technically this is an XML element. We are following proper syntax. We are writing open tag, close tag, and data. Okay, technically this is correct, 100% correct. But if somebody reads it, they don't understand what is this 234. Okay, so this is in our hands. This is in our hands how we want to prepare the XML element. Whether we want to prepare the XML element with meaningful information or without meaningful information. Okay, so that's what I'm saying. I mean, if you see example 1 and example 2, human readable format of data. Example 1 contains data without metadata. Example 2 contains data with metadata. So XML elements supports both the formats of data. Data with metadata, data without metadata. Both formats are supported by XML elements.
Both formats.
Any questions
XML element.
till this point? Any questions?
No. No, sir. Clear, sir.
Okay, so hope you are clear. So what we learned today we saw what are the types of web services, and we started with XML, and we learned how to write XML element with
XML.
metadata, without metadata. Correct?
Without metadata.
Yeah, these are all we learned today. I will stop here. If you have any questions, please ask me. Let's take 1 minute time. Let me know if you have any questions. No questions?
No, sir.
No questions, sir. Clear, sir.
Okay. Okay, guys, let's meet in the next session.